So if you truly believe there are other life forms out there in the universe, here's some more different perspectives to give you.
Countless alien sightings and interactions have been reported, but only a handful seem to have some truth to them. From alien sightings to government projects involving extraterrestrials, here are the 20 strongest signs of aliens and alien life. Number 20. The Fermi Paradox. If the universe is so vast, with billions of stars and likely even more planets, where are all the aliens? Introducing the Fermi Paradox. There are around 100 billion stars in our Milky Way, many of which are similar to our Sun. This means that somewhere out there is likely a planet that revolves around a Sun-like star with the right conditions for life to thrive. So why haven't we seen any signs of extraterrestrial life? This is the crux of the Fermi Paradox. The paradox emerged from a casual conversation Fermi had with his colleagues in 1950, where he famously asked, "But where is everybody? Really, where is other life in the universe, if there is any?" Now, one theory suggests that while intelligent life might exist, it's incredibly rare for civilizations to develop technology advanced enough for interstellar communication or travel. Another explanation could be that advanced civilizations are intentionally avoiding us, as proposed by the zoo hypothesis, whereas the name suggests, Earth is like a zoo being observed from afar. After all, if aliens are far more advanced than we are, perhaps they find no benefit in revealing themselves to us.
I don't disagree with that theory at all. Whenever they present that theory, I don't disagree. All the bickering and fighting and chaos that we have going on this planet, who would want to come here? We're a joke sometimes. We're a joke. And if other planets are together and life forms are together and in a cohesive unit, they look at us as stay away, alarming. That is definitely a theory I believe in, bro. Why come here? Other than the resources, I think if they need a specific resource, we see things flying around and different things, or they're dropping off to do reconnaissance to find the resources. That's one of the theories I think is true.
Perhaps there's a chance that we've interfaced with other life before, and we just haven't noticed them yet. The Fermi Paradox then leads us to one of humanity's steps in trying to learn more about extraterrestrial life, the Drake equation. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now. Number 19. The Drake equation. The Drake equation is a formula that looks like this. It looks simple enough, but this formula attempts to estimate the number of active, communicative extraterrestrial civilizations in our Milky Way galaxy. The equation was introduced in 1961 by Frank Drake, an American astrophysicist, during a conference at the Green Bank Observatory in West Virginia. Drake wasn't trying to solve the mystery once and for all, but rather to frame the discussion. This formula uses the rate of star formation, the fraction of those stars with planetary systems, the number of planets that could potentially support life, the fraction of those planets where life actually develops, the fraction that evolves into intelligent life, the fraction of intelligent civilizations that develop detectable technologies, and the length of time these civilizations might emit signals. For now, there's no way for us to know all the factors in this equation. For example, while we know more stars are forming and that exoplanets are common, we have little idea about the likelihood of life developing, let alone intelligent life. The fact that this equation continues to intrigue astronomers, however, suggests that there's a strong possibility that alien life really exists. Number 18. Tabby Star. KIC 8462852, or simply Tabby Star, is located about 1,470 light-years away from Earth in the constellation Cygnus. Now, this star is just one among the many others in the universe, but in 2015, it caught the attention of astronomers for a very unusual reason. It seemed to flicker and dim in ways that defy explanation. A team led by Tabitha Boyajian, hence the name of the star, first noticed the celestial object's odd behavior. Unlike most stars, which have steady light output or might dim slightly and regularly if they have a planet orbiting in front of them, Tabby's star was dimming irregularly and dramatically, with dips in brightness up to 22%. Given that the usual percentage is only around 1%, scientists quickly noticed its irregularity. This means something far bigger or more complex was happening around Tabby Star. This is how intriguing the universe can be. A fluctuation in a star's brightness could mean something. Now, there are several possible causes behind this phenomenon. First, a huge swarm of comets might be blocking the light. Second, a planetary collision caused a lot of debris to block the star's light. Or third, aliens. Some suggest that these dimming patterns could be caused by an alien megastructure, something like a Dyson sphere. Now, what is a Dyson sphere? It's essentially a hypothetical structure that an advanced civilization might build around a star to capture its energy. Although this idea is still highly speculative, if more evidence supports this theory, this would be one of the strongest pieces of evidence that alien life exists in the universe. Number 17. Super-Earth planet 48 light-years away. About 48 light-years from our planet in the constellation Cetus is a super-Earth known as LHS 1140b. First, let's talk about super-Earths. According to NASA, super-Earths are a class of planets far larger than Earth, yet lighter than the giants in our solar system like Neptune and Uranus. These planets can be anywhere between twice the size of our planet and up to 10 times its mass. Basically, despite these planets having the word Earth in their names, it's just a way to differentiate them. These planets don't necessarily have similarities to our planet. LHS 1140b is a super-Earth located.
Why don't you just call it a super planet then? Don't get our hopes up. I'm sitting here waiting on them to tell me, oh, okay, it got the same elements as Earth and different things like that. Different things to support life. Just call it a super planet then. It's huge.
In the star's habitable zone, basically where we are in our solar system. We're far enough from our sun that we don't get burned by its harmful rays, but we're close enough not to freeze to death. Being in the habitable zone also means a planet has the right conditions for liquid water to exist. Where there's water, there's a possibility of life, and astronomers believe that LHS 1140b could be a water world with vast oceans beneath a thick atmosphere. Using the James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST for short, astronomers also obtained evidence that LHS 1140b might have a nitrogen-rich atmosphere similar to Earth's. If confirmed, this would be the first time we've detected such an atmosphere on a planet in the habitable zone, which means this super-Earth might harbor life. Number 16. Scientists discover a mysterious object emitting a 5-minute-long pulse every 22 minutes. GPM J1839-10 is a celestial object located about 15,000 light-years away from Earth. It's extremely far away from us, and yet astronomers are intrigued by this object because, for some reason, it's emitting a pulse every 22 minutes, with each pulse lasting a full 5 minutes. Rather than natural light, it seems that the pulse it's emitting is a deliberate signal. However, we still don't know just what exactly this celestial oddity is. Right now, the leading theory suggests it could be an ultra-long period magnetar, a type of neutron star with a magnetic field 1 trillion times stronger than Earth's. However, this magnetar seems to be breaking all the rules. Typically, magnetars that emit radio waves spin much faster than this object. GPM J1839-10 is spinning so slowly that according to our current understanding of astrophysics, it shouldn't be able to produce radio waves at all. Yet here it is, sending out regular bursts of energy that have been detected as far back as 1988, hidden in old data until now. Could this be the first of a new class of stellar objects? Or is there an entirely unknown mechanism at work? This oddity remains one of the celestial objects that befuddle astronomers to this day. Number 15. A time when the United States government actually hunted for aliens. Project Blue Book. If this is the first time you've heard about this government project, perhaps it's because it's one of the less publicized objectives the United States was trying to complete in the 50s and 60s. You see, in the past, this project was launched as a secretive government operation that sought to investigate UFO sightings and determine if they posed a threat to national security. Project Blue Book was the third series of studies conducted by the U.S. Air Force to investigate unidentified flying objects. It began in 1952, at the height of the UFO craze in America, a time when strange lights and flying discs seemed to be appearing in the skies with increasing frequency. People were seeing things they couldn't explain, and the government was under pressure to figure out what was happening. Project Blue Book was led by Captain Edward J. Ruppelt. His task was to collect, analyze, and debunk UFO sightings. The operation was based at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, where a team of scientists, military personnel, and analysts sifted through thousands of reports. Their job was to separate hoaxes from reports that might actually contain some truth in them. Many believe that the necessity of this project lies in the fact that the government knows something about extraterrestrials that is yet to be declassified. Number 14.
And we only found out about that. Who's to say they're not still? They are, I believe, wholeheartedly 1,000%. There's still operations going on. We only found out, some of us or most of us only found out about Project Blue Book once it was declassified. So who's to say operations aren't going on as we speak that have just not been declassified yet? They're still classified. I 1,000% believe that, bro. Absolutely, there's stuff going on, man. We just don't know about it. That's why it's important. Well, we'll never get transparency. And to a certain extent, I understand, but it's a lot that they do need to be transparent about. It's ultimately our safety.
85 Earth-like exoplanets are out there. In January 2024, NASA, using the James Webb Space Telescope and the Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellite, detected 85 Earth-like exoplanets in outer space. The thing is, it's believed that all of them could potentially support life. These planets, located in various star systems across our galaxy, fall within the habitable zones of their respective stars. Among these exoplanets is K2-18b, located about 110 light-years away in the constellation Leo. This planet has been found to have water vapor in its atmosphere, along with temperatures that could allow for liquid water to exist on its surface. Although we have yet to learn more about this planet, the fact that it might be habitable is already astounding. With these 85 Earth-like exoplanets now on the radar, scientists have narrowed down where to look for extraterrestrial life. Number 13. The Tic Tac UFO sighting by Navy pilots back in 2004. On a clear November day in 2004, off the coast of Southern California, 2 U.S. Navy fighter pilots encountered something that would later become one of the most discussed and debated UFO sightings in modern history, the Tic Tac UFO Incident. The story begins with the USS Princeton, part of the Nimitz Carrier Strike Group, tracking strange radar signals for several days. These signals indicated objects descended from 80,000 feet to sea level in less than a second, something far beyond the capabilities of any known aircraft. The USS Princeton's crew asked 2 FA-18F Super Hornets, piloted by Commander David Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Jim Slate, to investigate the bizarre object. As the pilots approached the coordinates, they saw a white 40-foot-long object hovering erratically above the ocean. Fravor described the object as shaped like a Tic Tac, completely smooth, with no visible wings, rotors, or engines. It darted around with sudden bursts of speed, maneuvering effortlessly. Fravor attempted to close in on the object, but as he did, it suddenly accelerated and vanished from sight, reappearing on radar 60 miles away in a matter of seconds. The whole encounter, which lasted only a few minutes, left the pilots bewildered. It wasn't until 2017 that the Department of Defense declassified the sighting. This footage, along with the pilots' testimonies, fueled speculation about the nature of the object. Was it an advanced military technology, a natural phenomenon, or something not of this world? Number 12. Astronomers who heard music in space. Space is a vacuum. To be heard, sound needs to travel through something, a solid, liquid, or gas. In space, however, there's nothing. Molecules can't travel. Therefore, there would be no vibrations that can be converted into sound. Imagine the horror of astronauts aboard the Apollo 10 in May 1969 when they heard music in space as they orbited the moon. Now, rather than an entire song, this sound was a series of strange whistling sounds the crew could hear in their headsets while on the far side of the moon, completely out of contact with Earth. Gene Cernan, one of the astronauts, was one of the first to notice the sound. John Young and Tom Stafford claimed to have heard it as well, with the three agreeing that they heard a bizarre sound.
That's gotta be scary. Think about those astronauts that are stuck up there right now at the International Space Station. Imagine hearing something that scares the life out of you and you can't do nothing about it. You can't leave. You can't just be like, all right, y'all, I think we need to go. It's time for us to leave now. You can't even leave. You just gotta hope that it's nothing. And if it is something, that it doesn't find you. That's like your hands being tied behind. I don't like that feeling. No.
This odd auditory phenomenon was recorded during the mission and remained classified for several years, leading to all sorts of speculation when it was finally made public. Some thought it might be alien signals, while others wondered if it was some sort of spaceborne anomaly, while astronomers dismissed it as nothing but radio interference coming from our own planet. Others are skeptical. After all, what if the interference wasn't from our own satellites, but rather from someone or something else? Number 11. A Martian meteorite with microscopic fossils of bacteria. In 1984, a meteorite was discovered in Antarctica, but unlike the many space rocks found on the continent, Allen Hill's 84001 contained something quite extraordinary, possible evidence of ancient Martian life. This meteorite is believed to have originated from Mars about 4 billion years ago, making it one of the oldest known objects in the solar system. Under a microscope, researchers discovered tiny worm-like structures within the meteorite that resembled fossilized bacteria. These formations were so small, about 20 to 100 nanometers, that they were unlike any known life forms on Earth at the time. This led to a bold hypothesis. Could this meteorite prove that life once existed on Mars? While some were open to the possibility, others were skeptical, pointing out that the structures could result from non-biological processes such as chemical reactions between water and rock, rather than being evidence of life. Is Allen Hill's 84001 a meteorite with traces of Martian life, or merely a contaminated space rock? To this day, the question remains open. Number 10. Curiosity rover detects methane on the red planet. In 2012, NASA's Curiosity rover detected methane, a gas that on Earth is predominantly produced by living organisms. Methane is a gas that can be produced by biological and non-biological processes, so we're not sure just what's creating methane on Mars. Curiosity's findings showed methane levels in Mars' Gale crater fluctuate seasonally and even daily. These spikes were puzzling because while the rover detected bursts of methane at night, the gas seemed to disappear during the day. This was further complicated because the European Space Agency's Trace Gas Orbiter, designed to detect trace amounts of methane in the Martian atmosphere, found no methane while scanning from orbit. This discrepancy led scientists to propose that methane might be seeping from underground reservoirs, only to be diluted or destroyed by unknown processes during the Martian day. Recent studies suggest that this methane could be trapped beneath the surface, released when temperature fluctuations cause cracks in the Martian soil, allowing the gas to escape in small bursts. Some researchers even speculate that this trapped methane could be a remnant from ancient Martian microbes, or possibly current microbial life surviving underground. If proven, well, this could be a breakthrough in scientific history. Number 9. UFO filmed in South Africa. This video was captured in an undisclosed location in South Africa. This clip is one of the most recent UFO sightings recorded. However, with the rise of drones, some believe that this alleged flying saucer might be a modified drone designed to fool onlookers from afar. Even so, those who have seen it claim it disappeared far too quickly and flew up at such an astonishing altitude to be dismissed as a mere drone. A man-made remote-controlled aircraft? Or an alien spaceship? I'll let you be the judge. Number 8. Ancient record of alien sighting. In the 1930s, Alberto Tulli, then director of the Egyptian section of the Vatican Museum, discovered the Tulli Papyrus, one of the most intriguing artifacts said to have come out of Egypt. This papyrus is said to recount an extraordinary event witnessed during the reign of Pharaoh Thutmose III, around 1480 BCE. According to the text, the skies above Egypt were filled with mysterious fiery disks that emitted a foul odor. These objects were described as circles of fire, moving across the sky in formation. The phenomenon reportedly lasted for several days, causing great alarm among the priests and the pharaoh himself, who ordered the objects to be documented in the House of Life, a temple archive where significant events were recorded. The descriptions resemble modern-day reports of UFO sightings, glowing disc-shaped objects moving with precision and emitting strange lights. Now, if the papyrus is proven to be authentic, it would be the earliest record of an alien encounter. Number 7. Life on the Moon. In July 2018, a report published in the journal Astrobiology reignited the possibility that the Moon, the very same satellite we see in our skies at night, might have once been the home of ancient alien life. Researchers suggest that billions of years ago, the Moon might have had conditions that could support simple life forms.
So is that a reason why we haven't gone back yet? Maybe they saw something or discovered something that has them alarmed, and the next time we go back, we have to be prepared for it, so it's taking us a lot longer to get back there? Is that why? I'm gonna just add that to my theories I already have.
During two distinct periods, around 4 billion and 3.5 billion years ago, the Moon experienced intense volcanic activity that could have created temporary pools of liquid water on its surface. Combined with a magnetic field that protected it from solar radiation, these conditions might have allowed microbial life to exist briefly. While there's no direct evidence of life yet, this study opens up exciting new possibilities for future lunar exploration and the search for extraterrestrial life. Number 6. The year when sightings of flying discs flooded the authorities. 1947. The Black Dahlia case occurred at the beginning of the year, and the Cold War was raging on. The first instant camera was announced, and the first Tony Awards were held. And amidst all this, the United States experienced an onslaught of flying disc sightings. It all began on June the 24th, when pilot Kenneth Arnold reported seeing 9 shiny objects flying in formation near Mount Rainier, Washington. Within weeks, hundreds of similar sightings were reported across the country, igniting a national frenzy. The reports led to an explosion of interest in extraterrestrials and unidentified flying objects, which likely have had a lasting influence to this day. While many of these sightings were dismissed as hoaxes or misidentified aircraft, those who saw these discs continue to firmly believe that they are indeed signs of alien life. Number 5. Varginha UFO Incident. The Varginha UFO Incident, often dubbed Brazil's Roswell, is one of the most intriguing and controversial UFO cases in modern history. It began in January 1996 in the small town of Varginha, where several locals, including a group of young women, claimed to have encountered a strange creature. Described as about 4 feet tall, with brown skin, large red eyes, and a distinct sulfurous odor. Shortly after the sightings, rumors spread that the Brazilian military had captured and transported the creature to an undisclosed location.
A sulfurous odor. I never thought to think about them having or containing an odor, which would make sense though with them coming from different planets or places in the universe that they could contract different gases and stuff like that. So I never really thought about that. Maybe we could I don't know, start looking at or if we come up on those who have a specific scent, like we could use that to identify, you know, because some of us do believe that they can clone and look like us or resemble us, so it makes it hard for us to tell if that's an alien or reptilian or something like that. But maybe identifying a smell or a particular smell may be a way to differentiate or separate them from us. Good catch on that. Good. I'm glad they caught that.
Witnesses reported seeing unusual military activity in the area, including the retrieval of a strange damaged craft. Despite official denials from the Brazilian government, the incident quickly gained international attention, with UFO researchers and enthusiasts considering it as potential evidence of an alien encounter. Some believe it was a genuine extraterrestrial encounter covered up by the authorities, while some skeptics argue that it could be explained by mass hysteria or misidentified events. Regardless of the truth, the Varginha incident is one of the most infamous extraterrestrial events in history. Number 4. Children who saw UFO while at school. On a seemingly ordinary day in September 1994 at Ariel School, situated outside Rua, Zimbabwe, 62 school children, aged 6 to 12, claimed to have witnessed an otherworldly event during their mid-morning break. According to the children, A silver disc-like object descended from the sky and landed in a field near their playground as they were taking a break from class. Now, coincidentally, all of the teachers were inside, and none of the adults saw the alleged extraterrestrials with the children. The young ones, however, described seeing two small beings dressed in black with large eyes and elongated faces exit the craft. These figures reportedly communicated telepathically with the children, warning them about the dangers of environmental destruction and the need to protect our planet. When the children shared their experiences with the faculty and later their parents, it was met with disbelief. After all, how could such a bizarre event happen in broad daylight at a reputable school? The consistency in the children's accounts, many of whom drew eerily similar pictures of what they saw, made it difficult to dismiss as mere imagination or a prank. The incident quickly drew the attention of Cynthia Hind, a prominent UFO researcher in Africa, and later Dr. John Mack, a Harvard psychiatrist who had developed an interest in UFO encounters. Both found the children's stories compelling. Dr. Mack in particular noted the sincerity and emotional intensity with which the children recounted their experiences. He believed their testimonies were not fabrications, but accounts of an actual event. But of course, some argued that the entire thing might have been nothing more than a misunderstanding. Some believed that the sighting was a case of mass hysteria, influenced by the children's exposure to stories of UFOs and aliens in the media. Even decades later, the Ariel School incident remains a topic of heated debate. Number 3.
Listen, we need a where are they now? We need an update from those kids who are whatever age now. We need that. We need to know, man. How are they? What happened? What are they experiencing? Do they remember and recall? Ask them about that day again to go over it. Like, we need an update from them. I don't know why, but I feel like that'll explain a lot. That'll give us more insight.
Former U.S. Marine captures UFO. In 1997, Terrell Copeland, a former U.S. Marine, was stationed in Suffolk, Virginia, when he witnessed a strange glowing object hovering in the sky. He described it as a big ball of light. Now, this could have been anything, but according to Copeland, at that moment, it felt like he had just witnessed something he wasn't supposed to. This encounter marked the beginning of a series of bizarre events in Copeland's life. In 2007, a decade later, Copeland captured footage of another UFO. This was followed by something he didn't expect, an abduction. While napping in his apartment, Copeland was jolted awake by the sound of someone or something trying to enter his room. He described the doorknob turning and head-scratching noises. Yet when he tried to investigate, he found himself paralyzed, unable to move anything but his eyes. Then a voice, seemingly coming from the other side of the door, told him, "You don't need that weapon. We won't harm." The experience left Copeland deeply shaken, and what followed was even more disturbing. He began to experience missing time, where hours of his life seemed to disappear without explanation. As Copeland dug deeper into his experiences, he started to recover fragmented memories, one of which included a vivid image of a non-human figure, a woman with elongated features and black eyes often associated with alien encounters. These memories led him to believe that his encounters were more than just products of his imagination. Over the years, Copeland's story has gained significant attention, even being featured on the History Channel. As a former military member, many were inclined to believe his claims. However, like many UFO encounters, there are skeptics. Which side do you choose to believe? I'll leave that one up to you. Number 2.
Yo, what if abductions were a direct result of you seeing something that aliens deem that you shouldn't have seen? You know what I mean? Like, maybe when he snapped that picture, he snapped something in that photo that they didn't want getting out, so which led to the abduction. And I say that because if you think back to other abductions we've heard about, it's either, you know, people noticed it, they saw something, they followed some light into the woods, saw something, then an abduction happened, then their memory is gone. So maybe this is kind of like, I don't know, for lack of a better reference, the movie Bird Box. When your eyes are covered, you don't see nothing, you're good. You're good. But as soon as your eyes are uncovered, you open them and you see something, that's when something happens to you. This is just something I was thinking about while they were talking about his story and him, what he saw, and then directly what happened right after that.
2. an actual otherworldly creature on Earth. Tardigrades, also known as water bears or moss piglets, might be the most indestructible creatures on Earth. These tiny 8-legged critters can survive conditions that would obliterate most other forms of life. And why exactly am I talking about them? Well, it's because they're the closest thing to extraterrestrial creatures living on our planet. Tardigrades are typically less than a millimeter long, but they can thrive in some of the most extreme environments on the planet, from the deep sea to the frozen tundra, and even on mountaintops. Not extreme enough? These creatures can also survive in outer space. Yes, space. In 2007, scientists sent tardigrades on a European Space Agency mission, and these resilient creatures survived exposure to the vacuum and radiation of space, returning to Earth unscathed. Not only were they completely unharmed, but some of them even managed to reproduce. Now, how did these creatures manage to accomplish such a feat? When these small animals face harsh conditions like dehydration, freezing temperatures, or lack of oxygen, tardigrades can curl into a ball, dry out completely, and shut down their metabolism, a process known as cryptobiosis. In this state, they can survive for years or even decades, only to rehydrate and come back to life when conditions improve. Tardigrades are also known for their incredible resistance to radiation, which has puzzled scientists for years. Their cells contain a special protein called DSUP, short for damage suppressor, which protects their DNA from damage caused by radiation. If these tiny, seemingly simple creatures can survive the vacuum of space, it suggests that life in some form might be able to endure far beyond the boundaries of Earth. Or perhaps they've existed in the universe and we're simply not advanced enough to find them. And now it's time for today's topic. Scientists stumped. A hunting camera captured beings of extraterrestrial origin. Trail cameras are quite useful for monitoring wildlife. This particular camera, however, captured something else. The hunter initially believed the photo showed nothing but an ordinary person, but the features were far too bizarre to be considered normal. Needless to say, the hunter was terrified. This leads us to the question, what if aliens aren't the gray-skinned, big-headed creatures some think they are? What if they can easily copy and assimilate into our society, just like the beings in this photo? I don't know.
That's why I said being able to know the difference in the smell would be helpful, if that's a thing. If that's a thing, that would help us greatly. We might be on to something with that.
About you, but it's terrifying to think that creatures from other planets might have been aware of us long before we could even confirm their existence. Number 1. Aliens in 2029. Even though the strongest signs of alien life are debated, does that mean there's a stronger possibility that we're alone? Not really. What if I told you that scientists believe extraterrestrial contact could happen as soon as 2029? This is rooted in the calculations of signal travel times and the vastness of space. For decades, humanity has been sending signals into space, hoping that someone or something might be listening. These transmissions include messages sent to space probes like Pioneer 10, which launched in 1972 and sent back data during its journey past Jupiter. The signal from Pioneer 10 reached a distant star system in 2002, which means that if intelligent life were there to pick it up, we could receive a response by 2029. The study behind this prediction was conducted by researchers from the University of California, who meticulously mapped the paths of signals sent from several interstellar probes. They identified stars along these paths where extraterrestrial life might exist, and calculated how long it would take for our signals to reach those stars, and for a reply to return to Earth. Even if contact isn't made by 2029, the study suggests multiple opportunities for communication stretching far into the future, with potential contact points even centuries from now. Who knows? 2029 might just be the year we finally get an answer to the question, are we alone in the universe?